face. Just watch my face.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob and John. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob.
Good. I have no idea what just happened or what that was about, but welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. If you're not getting humped, then it's okay. So just make it a happy day. How's it going, guys?
Great, good to be here.
Awesome.
Great, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Rob, thank you for the mass intro, making sure everyone gets it pounded in their head what show they're watching. I know it was a glitch on that, but God knows I'm not perfect. I'm live on when I'm live anyway. But for anyone who doesn't know, of course, I'm Fran from Savage Ladies, Rob from Concert Junkies, and we have with us Theandric. Did I say it right?
That's right.
All
Perfect.
right. I was worried on that. I was like, on this Theandric.
Theandric,
you guys,
yeah.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. You guys, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely. So other than introducing yourselves directly, would you like to tell everyone what you play, what you guys are about, where you're from?
Sure. So I'm Paul Tiseo, and I'm the lead vocalist and bassist of Theandric, and we're based in Detroit, Michigan. And directly below me, guitarist extraordinary. Introduce yourself, my friend.
My name's Aaron Weinzak. I'm guitar and backup vocals with Theandric.
And who are we missing?
So we've got Larry Nagel, who's on the drums, and Bill Bogue is our other guitarist. They are the ones that, if you combine all our ages, those two guys make us a much older band. So Aaron and I are the ones who push the curve back, and while Larry and Bill went to get dinner at Country Oven at 4:30 p.m. and they're probably sleeping now. So we're awake, we're ready to party. Let's do this.
All right, so it's nap time for them, and that's when the adults come and play. When the kids go to sleep. Yeah, I get it.
Right.
Too funny. Well, Rob, I'm going to let you go first. We'll pop into that.
I think you're muted, Rob.
Yeah.
Yes. Good call on the sound. Aaron, you're in charge of front of house.
Got it. I'm on it. Put some
Rob,
more vocals in your monitors. Can you hear it yet?
Okay, well, I guess I'll just jump ahead while he's unmuting himself. So you guys, tell me about the name. What's the story behind the band's name?
Sure. Yeah, I know it's unusual, and always people are like, "What does that mean? What's that?" Actually, I found back in my college days, and I was kind of reading some different books about spirituality and theology, and I came across that word Theandric, and it just kind of jumped off the page to me because it sounded mysterious and kind of metal to me. And when I looked up the name, the definition, one of the definitions that I like to use really is sort of like the idea of the divine cooperating with the human in the act of creation. So that's sort of a high level minded thing, but basically it was sort of like, oh, that kind of matches my philosophy of music making, like music being a gift from above and then using it with whatever talent you have to make something special. So I liked that idea of like whatever the songs that we write, our performance, we're trying to do something that's inspiring and that points towards something grand and big. So yeah, so it has the some of that, some of my spiritual background, some of that elements.
Okay, cool.
And it
So
makes
and
Mhm.
mental and spiritualist. That's awesome. That's good. You do seem like a very lighthearted, natured person, and that's good. That's beautiful. I can see you're just always smiling. You got that cheese look on.
Yeah, I'm a kind of a
Aaron, she's
goofy.
down there being the bodyguard watching.
Mhm.
I got his back.
Let's see. That's
Yeah.
good though. That's good. So, oh, Rob, you are back. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. We can hear you now. Awesome.
Yes.
So, I want to talk about that now. Theandric. I mean, Paul, that you've actually had that band name for quite some time now. Were you a solo artist in the beginning when you started?
Yeah, that's right. And in fact, it was only kind of like it was only by necessity. Like I always had the vision. I wanted Theandric to be a full-fledged band.
Right.
But it's just a matter of like it's a real challenge sometimes to find the right people who are all on the same page,
Absolutely, yeah.
personally, musically. So kind of when it started out, I knew at least like I didn't want to put stuff out just as under my name, because I wanted to just point, the idea of like, I hope one day this could be a full band. So the first thing that came out was when I was just sort of like dipping my waters in the music scene, was this they put out this EP in 2011 called Up the Irons.
Right, yeah. I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
You actually you had another EP out, and you're smiling.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that EP?
Sure. So yeah, as we and Theandric were all huge Iron Maiden fans, as you can see in
Yes.
Aaron's background there. And I was sitting at home playing guitar, working on some riffs, and I came up with some stuff that I'm like, you know what? I really can't. This sounds really like Iron Maiden, like what they write these days. And I was like, I don't really want to put this out with it being such a riff off. But then I thought, well, what if I make this work for me by writing a song all about Iron Maiden in their style? And so then I decided, okay, I'm going to try to outdo Steve Harris and make the ultimate Iron Maiden epic song. Like it's got to be longer than anything he's ever written. So it ended up being 17 minutes long. And we have verses about every member of the band. And
Oh, wow.
I tried to use like mimic the sounds and even the like some of the things that get on my nerves now about Iron Maiden, because sometimes they write songs that could use a little editing, let's say. But anyway, so yeah, I had a friend, Andy Padlin, he's a guitarist and producer here in Michigan. He plays in the band Sponge, from 90s alternative days.
Yep.
So he helped me put that together, and so that Up the Irons had that song, and made a silly video for YouTube to go along with it, and then one original song just to kind of give a taste to people of some what might be coming down the line.
Right.
But it took took from that release to about 8 years till I hooked up with the guys now in the band.
So what made you decide that you were ready to start looking for bandmates?
Yeah, it's interesting. It was I actually kind of went on a little journey. Like I took time where I wasn't playing heavy metal so much, and I was playing a lot of acoustic guitar and exploring different styles of music. Even like my on my father's side is Italian, and I was working on learning a bunch of Italian folk music, just like kind of not metal at all. But then in when did that be? 2017 or so. 2018 maybe. I went to go see some bands at the local club here, and I went to see Spirit Adrift.
Okay.
And they were touring for the record Curse of Conception, I think it was. And it'd been a while. It's been so long that I've been out of the metal scene that it was just like, oh yeah, this is so much fun, and I miss this, the power and the volume. And
Yeah.
after seeing that show, like I went home and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get back, and I just started like lots of creative juices started flowing. And I started writing a bunch of material. Meanwhile, at the same time, I was filling in on bass for a band. Bill was in, and a friend of ours, Matt. From time to time, they'd play in an '80s cover band, just for parties and
Right.
different kind of entertainment kind of situation. So they needed a bass player for a gig, and I sat in for these 2 gigs. And then meanwhile, we were talking about music that we liked, and it turned out that they were big metalheads too.
Yeah.
So at the time I was like, hey, I got some songs I'm working on. I don't know if you guys be into this, but check it out. And they were into it, which was great. And then at the same time, someone named Aaron put an ad in Craigslist, which I
saw that.
Oh, Craigslist, baby.
um,
Okay.
and
So, you know what? Sometimes you can find that needle in that haystack, though.
Totally.
Or a needle.
Yeah, well, that's the point.
Yeah, it's 50-50. Like Aaron, I knew Aaron could be an awesome dude, or he could be a serial killer.
Yeah, this is true. Yes.
Fortunately, he was the former and a great guitarist too. So maybe Aaron can say how we when we first met.
Yeah. So I was posting on Craigslist looking to either play in like a Maiden cover band or start a band or join a band, just do something musically. And Paul responded to my really specific ad of like, loving Bruce Dickinson and Megadeth and a bunch of the same kind of bands that we're into. And he suggested we meet at a local high school he was working at the time. And I'm thinking, okay, public place, you can't kill me there, probably.
You got plenty of witnesses, cameras.
At least cameras and witnesses. So
that's kind of sketchy anyway, to be at a middle school or a high school meeting up with somebody.
Yeah. In hindsight, yes, you're 100% correct.
As long as nobody said that they were, as long as nobody said they were 16, it still gets weird.
Yeah,
it still gets weird.
So I show up with my amp. He makes me walk around the building 10 times looking for an empty room. And we jammed and it went great. And then, he brought me out to his car. Also kind of a red flag. But puts on the up the iron.
This is total creeper mode meetup.
It was a bit of a needle moment for sure.
Yeah, he was
emotional, damn it. Emotional.
And he plays me the Up the Irons EP, and I was like, man, this guy's kind of legit. This sounds killer. Like, I'm all into it. And so we get together, shortly after with Bill, and I think Matt a few weeks after that, and it was great. So we just kept jamming and jamming.
Yeah, it was in a more normal setup, like a garage or a basement.
Yeah.
It was like a normal setup, garage, nice neighborhood. So the red flags started coming down a little bit.
Another pink?
What was that?
It's another pink flags, not red?
It was more pink, yeah.
More pink?
And then it's
simply turned into,
yeah. So, yeah, we started jamming, doing a lot of, Maiden covers, and I listened to them do like a Rush cover for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was a mix, and I was listening to the music before I started actually looking into you guys, and I was picking up like a Rush, and and sure enough, the details that I was looking into, I was like, that makes sense. You guys got the Metallica and Maiden mix as well as Genesis and Rush, and I'm like, that actually described it perfectly. And that's a hell of a mix, but it makes sense. I mean, you can make it happen.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, thanks. Like I think we want to draw from all those different influences, and I like music that has a lot of layers. So we don't have a member who's a keyboardist, but when writing the songs and recording them, that's sort of a secret sauce, I think, for some of the music has mellotron and organ and some different stuff like that adds a different dimension to stuff.
Yeah, it works. I kind of took over for the last 15. Rob, go ahead. Jump in, man. I'll let you go for like a few questions. I lose myself all the time, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
If you could pick one song, not your own, to describe yourself, what song would that be?
Excellent question.
Yeah, you go first, Aaron.
How about How about We Rock by Dio? And my rationale being that I love Dio and I like to rock. As simple as that. I mean, I can't really, without going too deep into like my personal issues in life, pick a different song. So that one just makes the most sense.
That was very deep.
That might be a terrible answer. I don't know. Sorry.
It's good if it works for you. It's a good answer.
It works. Paul, clean me up.
Okay. I'm gonna go with this is not my song. I wish I wrote this song because then I would be living in a mansion. But as cheesy as it is, I would pick The Final Countdown by Europe.
Oh wow!
And actually, this was the story is this was the first cassette I ever bought when I was a kid, like 12 years old at the mall. And I heard that song and I was like, this is the best thing ever. So I made my dad take me to the mall to buy it. And actually, speaking of, great guitar playing, John Norum plays guitar and has wicked guitar solos all over that album. So that was kind of the seed for me of starting to like hard rock and heavy metal. And so maybe that song, and it kind of reminds me too of myself, maybe a little bit goofy, but also cool. So
I love it.
I like that. So, Aaron, what was your first cassette?
My first cassette.
Yeah,
you're a CD baby.
You ever on a cassette?
I was a little after cassettes.
Yeah. Okay, a little after.
Just a little bit. I have some cassettes now, but
what was your first CD then?
First one. First CD was it was something stupid too. It was like a Sum 41 CD in 4th grade. But not long after was Iron Maiden's Power Slave because the cover looked cool at Best Buy and my aunt bought it for me.
Nice.
And that kind of steered me down a good path. So,
all right. She guided you on the right path. Like, where are you going?
Yeah.
That's good. Good job, Auntie. You did the right thing. Yep. Go ahead, Rob.
All right. If you can build your own 2-day festival. First day, female fronted. Second day, dead or alive. Who are your top 5?
Okay, female fronted. Let's start out with that. Okay. And you can pipe in, Aaron, if you have some ideas. I'm going to say, I don't know if this is allowed or not. Do you remember the band The Gathering?
Yes.
Yes. Well, Annika has the most amazing voice ever. Sadly, she left The Gathering. But if there was a way to get her to reunite with The Gathering, that'd be one of the bands for sure I would pick. Let's see.
Arch Enemy.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. Arch Enemy. And killer guitar players as well as I'm forgetting her name. What's her name at front of that band now?
I forget also. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, cute lady number 1. Sorry, I can't remember. There's a really cool Italian band, sort of a doom fuzz kind of band called Messa, who are really, really good. So I'd put them on there. We have a local band to us, actually a band called Forge the Sun, which you could interview sometime, but they're a really cool progressive type of rock band. And Allie Rose is her name. She has a super powerful voice. Who I'd stick them in there because support local music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about Nightwish is the 5th band?
Ooh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I like that.
Nice
That'd be good.
variety.
I feel like I want to add. We already got 5, but it would be cool to add some. Oh, well, we did get Arch Enemy, but one of the bands that has death metal vocals like Crypta or something. That would be cool.
Mhm.
Okay, and then let's see. Our second night is Dead or Alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that comes to mind is the bands that I didn't get to see that I wish I had. So I'm going to say first Death with Chuck Schuldiner. That would be killer. I never got to see him, and I'm bummed about that.
Right.
Um,
Like, I'll eat you with his hair.
let's see. Aaron mentioned Dio. Thankfully, I was able to see him a couple times, but we should just bring him back for this show because he's
Yep.
awesome.
100%.
No holograms, real Dio. Let's see. Who else would we have?
I would like to say Pantera with Dimebag and Vinny. I've never seen
Yeah,
them
that'd be
before.
good. As long as we have power over life and death, we're gonna put Pantera too. And I would put this band Theandric because they're live and like, they're pretty good, I guess. But they're new, so we'll only give them like 10 minutes set. Then they can drink beer the rest of the time.
It doesn't sound like a bad deal.
Pretty good. I mean, there's so many bands I love. I mean, Sepultura is one of my favorite bands. So anytime they're playing, I like to see them.
Let's throw Stevie Ray Vaughan on it.
Okay.
There you go. That'd be good.
Yeah, I guess that would be a good festival. I'd see that.
Mm-hmm.
Pay $20,000 for that.
You can bring your lady to the first night, and then the second night bring your buddy.
That's fine. Bring the women to the women show. Bring the guy. Bring the man to the man show.
Yeah, I suppose
I get
maybe
it.
now I should.
I would tell you a whole lot as your woman. Like, I'm gonna take your ticket and I'll take your buddy with me. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah, you don't want me as a girlfriend. Go ahead, Rob. Knock him out.
If you could change one thing in the music industry right now, what would that be?
I would like to see. You know what? Actually, one of the things I would like to see terrestrial radio, like, go back to having space for supporting new acts and original acts. I think that now we have the situation where one company controls all these radio stations, and so like classic rock or your local hard rock station, it's the same 10 songs like played over and over, like, and stuff that, like, don't get me wrong, like I love Led Zeppelin, I love Ozzy or whatever, but it's like I don't need to hear Crazy Train anymore. I don't need to hear these same songs played 10 billion times. Like, hey, guess what? You could play some new songs by new bands that are starting out. Like, that would be, I think that'd be good culturally for people to connect with new stuff that is happening. So that a band like us that wants to kind of make a mark, that would be cool to get. There is a show here in Detroit called Motor City Riffs, I think. So on Sunday nights they have an hour or so of featuring local bands. So we have had a couple of songs played on that a couple of times. So that's always a thrill to hear on 101.1 The Riff. That's a pretty big deal, big station and for us. And I think they have good interviews too for national acts.
So based off what you just said, where were you the first time you heard your first song played on the radio? Where were you and how did it feel?
Yeah, I was at home with my family, and we knew they were going to play it, so I had myself just.
So you telling everyone, "Shut up, it's gonna start."
Yeah. I was like, it was awesome. It was definitely like it was like a bucket list thing, especially to remember being a kid and listening to the station, and like now be like, holy shit, they're playing our song right now. That was awesome.
Right. That's cool.
And
What about you, Aaron?
Aaron, you were in the gutter somewhere in an alley or something.
Yeah, I had a little Walkman with me.
Say what?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The Riff is like a iconic station, I feel like, and just to hear your own music that you put work into played, on your car radio, on the Riff is pretty badass. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
I mean, it's not quite the same level as Savage Ladies of Metal, but it's cool.
Yeah. We're making it.
Yeah.
Love you for that. Thank you. Go ahead, Rob. I'll let you go a little bit. I talk all the time anyway.
We're in contemplation mode.
No, my
Which question
computer's
was-
freezing for some
Question,
reason.
which question?
Okay.
He's like me. He's got a list that you guys don't see that we pick from. It's like, I want to ask that. I want to ask that.
What makes you guys stand out from everybody else?
I think what makes us stand out is two things. One is kind of the synthesis of a lot of unique kind of bands. Like we talked about mixing Russian Genesis with Maiden, Metallica, and I know other bands have done that, but I think a lot of bands stick to one genre. Want to just be super, reinvent thrash metal or try and be proggy for the sake of prog. But I think the music Paul writes and that we work on together blends that a little bit more than I hear a lot of bands do. And I think we're pretty genuine about it. I don't think we're trying to dress up in leather and denim, change into stage clothes and just try to be badasses. We're just four dudes trying to make cool music that we believe in. So I don't know. We played with a lot of bands I felt were a little disingenuous at times.
I like that.
Maybe they weren't doing it on purpose.
That's a good choice of wording. I like that you use that. That's good. You don't hear that too often.
I'm pretty proud of my vocab at 9:40 at night. But no, I don't mean it as a diss to them, but I think it's tough to kind of really be yourself sometimes with music.
I would say
try to rip off and copy people, and you don't mean to, but it just comes through.
Right.
Yeah, I would say to add to what Aaron said, he said genuine. This is a great word, but also authentic. We really just kind of be ourselves, and the music that we like to hear is kind of what we write. So there's not. It's honest and it's true. So it's not constructed in a way where we're thinking okay, in order to get attention, we gotta, dress up like Ghost or have some particular, image or something. Yeah, that doesn't really resonate for us so much as ultimately it's always about the song.
Not for everyone.
Yeah, and I'm total respect to those bands that they have success,
Absolutely
finding their niche. But yeah, I think how does anyone stand out? Well, be yourself. I think is the answer. Because there's nobody else that can be you. Nobody else can be Franz, Savage Lady of Metal, or Concert Junkie Rob, John, you too. So only you know how to be you the best you can. So that's what we do.
Good answer. Good answer. All right,
500 points.
I'm gonna jump in. Yes. All right, so I'm gonna jump in. Losing my spot here. So Paul, you're the main writer of the band, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
So when the band actually started getting together and you guys started writing your music and recording, COVID happened. As everyone knows, that was a good kick in the ass to everyone to some degree. But for you guys, from what I saw, it was a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very rare to hear that. So that's awesome that you found the light at the end of that tunnel and used it to your advantage. So what made COVID a blessing for you in the band?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had just started jamming together in the fall of 2019 and working on a few songs, and of course we were really chomping at the bit to play out live, and then of course, yeah, the world ended.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people found this in the pandemic. I mean, all of a sudden, guess what? You don't get to go out and do the things that you normally do. You're at home every day, and you got nothing but time.
Yeah.
And I like it was nice actually to kind of hit the brakes on life's grinding routine. So instead of the time you
It was
spend
like hitting a reset button for everyone.
yeah, so I'm not
Yeah.
commuting to work every day. I'm not life wasn't a blur of school and work and kid activities and everything.
Right.
It was like, okay, I get to be grounded. And so every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, guess what? All my guitars are here, my laptop's here. And so I had nothing but time to let's see what kind of songs we can write. And so I found that ideas was just flowing, and we'd have
So you found inspiration in COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if anything, it was just kind of to reconnect with what I really love the most, or what's kind of what's in my heart to do, which is
You found yourself again.
write and perform music, and then so then I made it for the other guys too. I think having something new and exciting to hold on to during that time when it was so
Right.
everything was shut down. And that led, of course, to us after we saw that it was going to be long term, that we weren't going to be playing out. We were like, well, why don't we go into the studio?
Right. And then you guys started working on your EP that you ended up releasing in, what was it, February of 2022, right?
Yes, that's right.
And that was Amongst the Tombs, right? Was that right? That's it called? Flight Amongst the Tombs.
Flight Among the Tombs, that's right. Uh-huh.
And there's 4 songs on that. Which one was your favorite to record?
For me, I would say actually the song Condemned to Death, I think, was because I wanted to. This song has a lot of emotional meaning and gravitas to it. So I was looking forward to putting a lot of emotion into the vocals of that, and just hearing it fully with the band, with the power of the sound. So that I really enjoyed how that turned out. I don't know. What did you think, Aaron?
Probably Flight, the title, Flight Among the Tomb, was pretty fun because that has a lot of live takes. Like what you hear on the EP is a lot of what we did,
Right.
in a take, all together. And I think it comes across pretty badass that way. So that one was a lot of fun. I loved how that came out.
That's
Yeah, and I
fun.
should say that that song was born out of riffs that Aaron wrote when he was in high school. And he sent me this song file of his riffs, and it was this, kind of lo-fi production. But I was driving around listening to these riffs, and all of a sudden I had this melody in my head, and so that was really cool how that song came together from something old, and then we made something new, and
That's
it always
cool.
goes over really well live because we got fiery guitar solos melting your face.
So then, when you feel creative and you start writing, what inspires you? What is your creative process like?
Yeah, I think usually songs for me start with some kind of seed of an idea, usually with a guitar riff or some kind of something that I'm just playing, not really thinking so much, and then something kind of intrigues my ear where I'm like, oh, that could be going somewhere. What's going on? Sometimes though, I also have I really like to read a lot of poetry, and sometimes certain lines or titles of poetry spark in some inspiration where I think, oh, I want to express like a certain sentiment in a song. So the music isn't even ready yet, but I like the idea of like taking some text and having that be a place to start. So sometimes that can help direct a song. So I usually, I mean, my process is like, it's kind of painstaking. Like I'll take several weeks to try to do a full demo so that I can share with the guys, and it's pretty much fleshed out like bass, drums, guitars, and vocals and everything. So though, you know, I'm hoping we're gonna try to do more because everybody's really talented in the band. We will try to collaborate more where everybody has input on the songs. But I just have this certain way of working where I know what I want it to sound like, and so I go to there.
Nice.
You said you're
And Aaron, you do help with some of the writing, right, Aaron?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how about you?
A lot of times,
What's your creative process like? What are your triggers?
my creative process, usually whenever we jam or I'll get together with Paul or Paul send me an idea, that'll kind of get my juices flowing. Just, you know, it inspires me to kind of work on stuff and maybe bounce ideas a little bit.
Yeah.
And then probably the other thing would maybe be like a movie that just kind of moves me a certain way. Might make me want to like pick up my guitar and I've got like just an idea of like an emotion I might want to work out. Or maybe I got a riff that reminds me of that and I'll kind of elaborate on it and share it, with the guys or with Paul. So, but probably Paul Tizeo inspires me the most. That gives me my creative process and juice.
Aw, that's awesome though. That's cute at the same time, but beautiful. That's beautiful. That's a very big.
So
That's a
Paul,
beautiful
you said that.
compliment, man. That's a beautiful compliment. That's good.
It's true.
Yeah.
Paul, since you said you were into poetry, who's your top 5?
Okay. So, well, there's a poet who was American, a Jewish American poet named Anthony Hecht, and he won a Pulitzer Prize for a collection of poetry, and not as well known, but I discovered his poetry a little bit before the pandemic, and then, in fact, one of his books of poetry is called Flight Among the Tombs, and this book was about he was writing poetry about different ideas of death in different personas. And it was a very sort of heavy metal idea. So, so I really like him. Another song on the EP is called Ozymandias, which is based on a poem by Shelley, one of the English romantic poets. So I could probably put him in there. I'm still discovering new poets. Like right now, I discovered an Italian poet who's passed away, but a woman named Maria Luisa Spaziani. I found a collection of Italian poets, and some of her work was in there that I really, really like. So I have already like some of her lines. I think like, ooh, this would make a good song title. Gee, who else? Man, who else do I like? Oh yeah, I think William Wordsworth is a good one, and of course, Vanilla Ice. Just kidding. I couldn't think of a fifth one. So.
Good. Go ahead, Rob. Take over, babe.
Freaky Friday scenario. Which member do you not want to be for 24 hours and why?
Do I not want to be?
Yeah, that you do not want to be for 24 hours.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to pick, I don't want him to be offended, but I'm going to pick Larry only because I know he has a very stressful job right now. In fact, we were joking, but he actually, I think he has, like he had to work late tonight and he has to go to dinner with his boss this week, and his company is being sold to another company or something. I don't know. It's all kind of stressful. So Larry hasn't been able to like play drums as much as he'd like. So I'm allergic to stress, so I'd probably not want to trade places with Larry. Although it would be cool to like bash stuff with drumsticks. So there's that.
Too funny.
I would not want to be Bill. And I love
You
Bill.
didn't hesitate with that one.
He eats too healthy for my liking. He's tall. I just wouldn't be used to it. I wouldn't like it.
What's too tall to you?
Like I'm 5'7", so like anything above that.
Same,
It's
so I
like
know where you're at.
1 or something. I don't know, 6 foot.
Yeah.
Although I could reach things in cabinets better, that might be cool. And he's got two little kids. Like, come on, man, I can't deal with that. Like, I'm good. No offense, Paul as well. Can't even take care of myself. I don't want kids right now. So
Yeah.
for those
Things not for everyone.
I would
So at
not
least
want
you're
to
owning it.
I'm owning it. Not
That's
ready.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. So, Pete, ladies, if you want to have children, leave Aaron alone. It's not happening.
Not right now. Nope.
Too funny.
Although he's got a good guitar collection, so I don't know.
That's true. He's got some great axes.
This is what I'm talking about.
We just paused for a station identification.
Yeah, did I just jump in?
No, I'm actually having internet problems, but
Oh, okay.
Wait. Okay, you want me to jump in? I got like 50 questions.
no.
No.
Last Supper scenario. Who's your 12? One female has to be present. No family members. Musicians, cartoons, fictional characters. But there has to be one female present.
I would pick Adrian Smith, Bruce Dickinson, Steve Harris,
Nice.
Dave Murray, Nico McBrain, Yannick Gers. I would pick. Who else would I pick? Ryan James Dio, obviously. Duh. One female present. I would pick probably.
I would pick Fran.
Fran, you're in. Fran's in.
So I'm Mary Magdalene, huh? One thing.
You're Mary Magdalene. You're in.
Thank you.
What am I at?
It's a
8?
compliment in a twisted way. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I would pick. Who else would I pick?
I think you should pick your. Oh, you can't do family, right?
No
Nah,
family,
I don't want
no.
to.
Oh, okay.
Hey, these are good questions.
Yeah.
Buckethead would be like number 9.
That'd be cool.
I would pick Tom Cruise, but only if he plays Maverick from the original movie. Number 10, maybe. That's kind of lame, but it's all I could think of. I would pick Lloyd Kaufman from the Trauma fame, Toxic Avenger.
Huh. Okay.
And then I would pick. Oh man, number 12 is gonna be the toughest. I would pick Steve Eiserman. I don't know.
Nice. Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a tough one, Rob. Come on, man.
Yeah, 12. Gee.
Yeah.
This is
I tell you, he's got the ones that make you think. Details.
All right, Paul, your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna pick. All right. The Step Brothers. So Will Ferrell and
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly.
That'd be a hell of a way to go out, man.
And since I think of comedians, Steve Martin.
Yeah, I know he's still alive.
The guys from Monty Python. That's probably like five guys or something. So we're about 8. Let's see, Robin Williams. He's always a blast when he's
You
there.
want to die laughing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, Pope Francis. I'm gonna include him. And oh yeah, I gotta pick a female. So I'm gonna say I like Amy Adams, the actress. Don't tell my wife. And John Candy.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice. That's beautiful.
I'm gonna try to sneak over to Aaron's dinner though, so I can meet Iron Maiden and Dio and all those people.
Too funny. Hey, jump in, Rob?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see, where do I want to go? Do you guys, for each of you, do you prefer EP releases or singles? Which do you
EP
think is better?
releases.
Pardon me?
I would prefer EP releases over singles.
And why is that?
We just had this conversation the other day, me and Paul,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like to me, because I like traditional things, that singles seem to fall into oblivion sometimes, unless that track ends up maybe on an EP or an album, like a work of art. Like standalone stuff to me never seems to like carry on sometimes the same way the weight of an EP or an album or something like that would. So for that reason, I'm all in on EP.
Yeah, and actually, more accurately, I think we're all in on like LP. Really, like I think our main goal next is to do a full record. There's some limits to like. I mean, I'm glad we did an EP because it was just right. It was a way to like be creative and get something out there and kind of introduce Theandric to the world since it was now a band. But there are limits to how you can market and promote. There's a lot of outlets that just don't review EPs,
Right.
so they want to see full length stuff. So yeah, I in metal tradition, I think albums are still really like valued. Like people like to listen to something that's a full statement, not just individual songs. So
Right.
Yeah. And I know singles are kind of becoming more of a thing with streaming and people's attention span, but that makes me want to do like an LP even more for that reason.
yeah.
Like I kind of reject the idea that people can't pay attention to things.
It's true.
It's true, but I don't like it, so I'd
Yeah.
rather not contribute to it.
And part of the
Right.
fun is part of the fun is the art and the packaging and that. Like I love that part where we find an artist and commission artwork and think about what's this CD booklet gonna look like and the lyrics and that whole stuff. Like that's a lot of fun. Like I still
Right.
buy CDs and I want to feel like, okay, I own this. It's funny. I'm old enough now that they're like re-releasing CDs that I bought a long time ago. I'm like, I'm not gonna re-buy this. I have this already. But yeah, same with vinyl. I think.
Yeah. Vinyl's huge. Vinyl's very much huge, and that's awesome. That's bad. So, tell me, what do you think the basic fundamentals of being a musician are? What would be the good fundamentals of being a good musician?
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta enjoy it more than anything. Like I don't think, you could try to be the best guitar player, shred the most, or try to write, the most complex song. But at the end of the day, like a kid in his basement at 8 years old, playing along to whatever, is now not much different than like, me or Paul on stage. Like we're just having fun and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's any basic tenets or fundamentals other than if you're not having fun with it, you shouldn't do it.
Okay.
I would say
In drugs, hookers, and blow.
Oh yeah, forgot
Helps.
about that part.
No, I'm just kidding.
I think one important aspect of being a musician is actually knowing how to listen, to have open ears, to be open-minded. I think that listening to lots of different types of music. Not only that, but like listening to the world and its diversity. Like I want to hear from people of different backgrounds, different life stories, different languages. Like that way you can, I think, knowing that the world is rich with lots of different information is can make art better. And I think it's definitely necessary. You got to don't be a jerk. Be nice to hang out with. So if you're going to be in a band that works, people got to respect each other, and we're definitely a band where we're like, it's about the journey, not so much the destination, because having fun is the number one thing for us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and there's, it's hard work sometimes, and there's stuff that's not so glamorous, like we show up at the gig and the sound system is crappy, or the turnout's not great, or, lugging our amps up big stairs without roadies, that kind of thing. I mean,
right.
And then, we're not rolling in the dollars so much yet, but so definitely it's a labor of love.
Labor of love, yes it is. Yes it is, definitely. So what is your biggest fear as a musician?
Did you say fear?
Yeah.
Fear, yeah.
Okay. I would say, honestly, the fear of being ignored. I write music I write music for myself first to, write the music I'd like to hear and listen to, but I don't want it to be contained just for myself. I want people to hear it and enjoy it and have a reciprocal enjoyment. So I do feel a certain fire burning when, like, we have new songs we're writing, we want to record, like I want to get stuff out there. It helps me know that I'm alive, that I'm being creative and putting stuff out there. So it definitely, for me, it's like life and death stuff. So if I'm not creating, I feel like I'm dying. So keep that fire burning.
My biggest fear would be, it's a tough one. I think, like, it sounds kind of morbid, but if to develop like a disease or have an injury where you couldn't play anymore, that's like my biggest fear. That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little bit twisted, but I think out of anything, that'd probably be like the worst case scenario.
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
Get that.
Yeah. If you didn't have this capacity anymore, like, I remember meeting a guy at a party who his dream of life was actually becoming a professional baseball player. And he played in the minor leagues a little bit, but then he got some injuries and eventually had to accept that, like, that wasn't going to happen for him. And he was reflecting to me like, but you're a musician and you can do it forever. Like, and I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of true. Like, as long as you've, not any major kind of illness or injury, like, keep playing guitar like Rolling Stones, Ozzy, like, you can be in your 70s and still rocking. So
Ozzy's not the best example.
You're right.
Yeah.
not Ozzy anymore, but yeah. Hopefully we're always making music no matter what age.
Right. All right, I'll ask one more and I'll let Rob take over. How do you think the evolution of digital music impacted the industry as a whole?
I think it changed it so much. Like, it went from you can make a living selling albums and, getting paid for your actual music on a good living. That's not quite the case, I think, even for the biggest artists sometimes. Or, I guess they make enough to make a living, but it's not like it used to be. But it also opened the door for consumers. You can find so much more music than you never would have been able to buy. And I think it helps a lot of independent or younger bands get their name out there more and try to grab attention some way. So there's a lot of bad to it. I think it changed things a lot. And now our T-shirts at concerts and tickets are, $500. You'll see anyone, of notoriety. But on the flip side, man, I found so many great bands. Like I would never have been able to buy their CD because I would have never found it at, the record store or something.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like there's a blessing and a curse. I mean, like the accessibility is awesome. So I can pull up my Apple Music and listen to that Death Doom band in Finland and check that out. Whereas back in the day, if I went into Harmony House, I'm dating myself, but might not find that. But yeah, also the downside, it kind of makes, there's an element I think where music has been devalued. You lose something when you don't have that physical package and that you can have in your hands and know like, okay, I own this. Like it's sort of like a lot of music out there in the cloud and then sometimes like stuff disappears too. People are like, oh, I can't find this album on Spotify anymore. And I still like to bands that I really like. I like a record. I still like to buy their stuff and support them that way.
All right. Go ahead, Rob.
All right, last fun question of the night here. This goes for actually all three of you. I want your answer on this. You were driving a school bus.
That's the first problem.
Yeah.
10 passengers get on, 10 get off. What color is the driver's hair?
Brown with gray streaks.
Well, my hair is kind of like auburn, I think. So
mine's not black, believe it or not, people. It is not black. It's just really dark brown.
Okay.
This is like a brown. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you're the first three to get that one correct.
We are
brilliant. 3 for 3, baby. There you go.
We are a thinking man's metal band, thinking person's metal band. So, if you take all 4 of our band members together, the IQ is like at least 100.
You've asked this to other people and they didn't get that right.
No.
And all 3 of us, we're first, and we all got it right. Well, there you go.
I've asked that question to other people, and no.
Wow.
Not at all.
This is history made on this Pat Savage Ladies of Metal.
Concert junkies, actually.
Yeah.
I'm the co-host on Wednesdays. I've been obsolete for a little bit, and a lot of things have been coming my way, which kept me away here on Wednesday. So I apologize to my New Jersey fans. But sometimes things come up unpredictably, and you got to jump. You got to know when a door opens. You got to walk through.
Sure.
So, real quick, you guys got what have you guys been up to since your EP release? Have you guys been doing more? Have you been writing more songs, doing some more recordings?
Yeah. All last year we played all. Pretty much playing out every month and locally here in Detroit. Had a lot of great shows and even like some highlights with we were able to open up for Anvil on their tour last year, and then played with some other up and coming prog metal bands, Immortal Guardian, Paladin. Then we played with classic metalers Raven on their tour. So it was great just to the world was woke up again and you could be out and see shows, and so we played a lot and we're getting tight as a band in terms of on the stage. Now it's been over a year since the EP came out. We've been working on new material. We do have a show this Sunday. We're playing at a club called Smalls, and with some great Detroit metal bands. And the headliner is a band called Tyrant that's from Lansing, Michigan, but also Among These Ashes and Us, and a band called Dark Entity. So Yeah, but we've been talking a lot about, okay, let's get our best 8 songs or so together, and let's try to make it happen to do a full
You want to
album.
make an album, and that's the goal now.
Yeah, I think
Do you have an ETA when you think you would like to have that released or at least finished?
God willing, I think realistically speaking, like, it'd be great if we could put that out the first quarter of next year. I think would
Okay.
be reasonable, because we all got families and lives and stuff. But I liked that February time. That was kind of cool. Good timing for release stuff, and then we had the whole year to promote.
All right.
Yeah. So
Things to look forward to for everyone.
yeah.
So you guys got to, like, after Christmas, after the New Year, start poking at Theandric, saying, "What you got? What you got? When's it coming?" And then when it's coming, poke me, Brand. We got you. Hold on, check this out.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd love to come back and talk some more.
Yeah, and maybe in several months I'll bring on the Savage channel, on the Savage page. We try to keep our interviews separate. Lately, it hasn't been working as much, but we're
Not at all.
coming to terms with the fact that we actually are two very different levels of interviewing. So it's like, maybe we can start letting that get a little closer.
Mm-hmm.
We had that conversation actually just a few days ago.
Yeah.
So
We'd love to talk with you guys anytime.
awesome.
So at this time, do you want to drop all your handles and, well, you already promoted Sunday, so all your handles and everything else?
Yeah, we're on all the usual suspects. Theandric.bandcamp.com, Facebook, Instagram. What else is there?
Theandric.com.
Yeah, Theandric.com is
Like
probably
the best place
the
to see everything.
easiest place to start. We got some sweet pictures on there. There's a local photographer and journalist, Chuck Marshall, here in Detroit, who does awesome photography. So you'll see some of his work on our website. So stay in touch with us, like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell, all those things with Theandric.
And same thing with Concert Junkies and Savage Ladies. Like, subscribe. Well, pretty much hit that bell for both of us, just all of us. Everyone just subscribe to everything.
Yes, for sure. It takes a
the more we grow, the more we can help the bands grow. That's what me and Rob do. We do it because we love it. We love the bands and so much more. And he's if I had the time he had now, but he's a killer with these interviews, man. He does a lot. So he's definitely very well known for interviews, in this scene, and I give him mad props for as much time as he puts into it that he can do.
So everybody knows tomorrow there is not going to be a podcast. I'm taking a night off. But this is on Facebook, Concert Junkies Robin, YouTube, same thing for
Also on the Savage channel.
Savage channel
and my personal.
Yes. So this is pretty much everywhere, even Twitch. Then that's just Concert Rob.
Yeah.
I want to thank you all for your time, and all have a great night.
Thanks
Thank
so
you
much
for having us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob.